WROX live at Rock and Roll Crystal Mine in Herkimer County, where we are discovering one small Herkimer diamond in the tailings next to a big rock right now. There we have it. One small Herkimer diamond covered in mud. And we lost it. There it is. Okay, so there's one. YouTube cut me off, so I had to come back on. In a new live, I got cut off. So we just found this one. That's a nice one. Well, that's a bummer when you're in a live and there's a few people in there and you're talking and then it just cuts you off. Because, who knows? We could have found great crystals together. Okay, here's a nice one, maybe. Looks like a good size face on it. Dirty enough to clean on your jeans. Of course, looking at why they're in this area, the water, I kind of created a situation with that rock, and then I took the shovel and I made a little bit of a ditch, right? You can see. So now I have 4 different planes possible. Water flow. That gives me 4 planes of possible finds. It's good to drop it in the tube because it gives you a little bit of an idea. You can hear the weight of it. Here's the little one. Well, that one is gone. I dropped it. And he's gone. It's gone. Okay, continue. Keep it moving. Don't cry over tiny crystals. Not a big deal. It'll pop back up out of the tailings. There's a tiny one right there. You just gotta look. That's Druse or something. Maybe not. The tiny ones, they kind of just float around. If you lose it, you rake the tailings. It rains, another 100 of them come up. We got all these different lines for the rain to wash just one little shiny bit, just enough to see. That's all you need. One shiny bit. It's also the reason why I look at all the little small ones too. Might look small, but then it might just be just the corner of a little tip. Here's a good example. That. Where's my finger? I think that might be a little tiny one. Or it might be. See how that looks like black glass? I think it is just a little tiny one. But it could have been gigantic. You never know. See? Tiny one. Tiny. Perfect for jewelry. Just as perfect as any of the bigger ones. Same exact shape. It's not just like a little tiny chunk. It's a tiny little faceted gem. So we put it in the crystal tube on YouTube. That's what we do. That's what we're here to do. Pop that. Now, by the end of the day, this is between 30 and 40 grams of little tinies. All the bigger ones go onto a flat or go in my pocket. The goal is to fill that tube up by the end of the day and retire forever. Where's my finger? It's right there. I knocked that up with my boot just a second ago when I walked by. I didn't see it. And that's why I walk around and then I retrace my footsteps. Because as you're walking around, you're knocking stuff up. A little percher on a little bit of matrix. Or maybe some Druse. Can't tell yet. So maybe sitting like this. Too many things in my hand. Looks like Druse. It's got a little bit of a shiny bit hanging out on one little corner. Might have a little rider down there. Little rider. Little Druse. Maybe a little matrix on the bottom. Seems like it's got a little red tinge to it, which leads me to believe it might have like a hematite inclusion on the bottom. Cool. I've been slamming boulders for days, and my body feels it. That's real nice, Druse. Look at that. Even with dirt on it, it's still nice. So we'll take that and we'll put it here with all this chunky glass that we found that we don't want to chop our fingers off with on this rock. And then the rain will come and it will wash it all away. That was a technical grab right there. That's called the over-under fingers trick. Where you go under the crystal with one finger, and you plop it up with all that dirt still on the one finger, and then you take your other finger and then you grab it all. Boom, now you got it. Like that. Tongs, you make your fingers into tongs. Here's a nice piece of Druse that I'm not gonna mess with. Just leave it there. And let it be beautiful. Oh, look. This little one has decided to join us. It's got like a key mark on the bottom of it where it looks like maybe or it was attached to another crystal. Kind of a nice little geometric perfect key mark. Now if I could locate the other part, it would just click right back into it. But those key marks look really cool when you use a crystal like this for a pendant. That's got a it's got kind of like a cathedral growth. Just went into two different points. That's interesting. That happens a lot on the larger crystals, but on the smaller ones it doesn't really tend to happen that much. They usually stick with the program and stay with the one point on either side because they have smaller molecular stacks. The larger crystals tend to be able to do what they want because they have a little bit more room and time, and they're big, they do what they want. The tiny ones tend to stick with the program, like I said, and they just kind of form in that double terminated, double pointed fashion. There's some nice Druse that I'm just going to leave sit in there. Does a glinty thing. Okay, we're on a part of the tailings that hasn't been drug out in a little while. So it's kind of cool that it's showing some crystals. You can probably see. That's one reason why I like this tube, because you can see how much it's filling up. So we still have all that light gray to go before we can retire and buy an island and a jet ski. Here's the bucket of yucky, disgusting mud that probably has a lot of crystals in it because it's from the inside of the pocket of the Bigfoot pocket, but it only made it this far because it's heavy. It's filled with water. And rocks weigh a lot. The rest of the buckets made it. I don't know why this one hasn't made it yet to the rest of the tailings. I'm not lazy, I'm just stupid. And I keep walking the other way with all the buckets and leaving this one. Sometimes you just have to sit down when the rock decides that it's time. So then you're just kind of closer to the ground so you can see the crystals better. Here's a boulder that I flipped the other day off the mountain from over there, and now I notice that there's like a pockety thing going on deep down inside there. Is there a crystal right there? Maybe it's just Druse. Get out of here. I think that's just Druse. Well, anyway, there's a pretty big vug inside there. That all looks like Druse. I'm trying to see inside with the camera. I need to get one of those stethoscope camera things. Get out of here. Well, yeah, so I knocked that over here and apparently knocked all this open. That's a pretty big void in there. A lot of Druse. I can see a lot of Druse. Maybe I'll go grab a hammer and I'll knock that thing open. I didn't notice that before. I think that might be glass. Yep, glass. Okay. What do you think? Do you think we should knock this open together? Or continue searching on the ground for some tailings? I know I can see it's definitely filled with some Druse in there. It's a pretty big boulder. Leave a comment. What do you think? Micro says open it. Okay. We got one vote to the positive to open it. Maybe it's going to be just, that's a hell of a boulder though, guys. But look at this nice Druse on the other side. I don't know if you can see that, but same boulder. And there's another bug here. Looks pretty eroded, like it was part of the mountain that was a vug that got emptied. This looks like when I sheared it off, there was a rock attached here more recently, and it was kind of covering this bug like that. You could probably see a little bit of it like that much, and then, but now you can see bugs. And then it comes up here, and then it really opens up in there a lot. So I'm with Micro on this one, and you know, I agree with Micro a lot. Find the crystals. I mean, it all comes down to find the crystals. So how we're gonna do that, we're gonna have to navigate the Boneyard. Not the Boneyard in Alaska. That's the real Boneyard. This is the Rock Yard. That's the Boneyard. Yeah. The Boneyard. Pretty cool. Anybody in this live, you should check out the Boneyard at Boneyard, Alaska. They're gold miners in Alaska. They're gold miners in Alaska. But the interesting thing, I'm not that interested in gold. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't wear gold. I don't really seek it out in my life. I don't give it to people. I give people other things, not gold so much. But there are gold miners in Alaska, and they were looking for gold, and they found a whole shitload of woolly mammoth bones. So they're hanging out in Alaska, finding like prehistoric animal bones in their gold mine. All right, safety glasses, number one. Number one, can see through these. I don't need to get a new pair yet. We're gonna bring this and this and this. And this thing, whatever it is. This is what we got, the basics. Let's see, and a chisel, the little one. I have to paint this one yellow again. As soon as possible. I only have that much yellow left on it. And you know, just to stay in character, let's bring this machete. Because that's my main tool. Cheap machetes. Bring a cutlass with you. You'll thank me later. First of all, if you're in the right place and nobody's been there for a while, you're gonna have to cut through some stuff to get there. You don't just go to City Hall in a nice suit. So I'm here for the crystals. Bring a machete. Most of the time. Anyway, miners are like pirates. Bring a machete. You may have to defend yourself. Okay, let's see if we're gonna sit on a random beautiful crystal while we're working here. We don't want to smush it down into the ground. Let me know if you see anything shiny. We don't want to smush it down into the ground, but we do want the boots to clean some off. I'm gonna try to do a good job with the camera stuff today and not plummet you guys down the mountain like I have in other lives. I'll probably be receiving some information from people's lawyers about injury lawsuits soon enough. Watch this live at your own